Hi everyone, my name is Duarte, and I'm a machine learning engineer here at Lotus Labs. And last week, Google announced Google ADK, which is an agent development kit. And I decided to make a tutorial and post it here on this channel so you guys can already start learning it and start using it for your agentic AI applications. So, if you love machine learning like we do here at Lotus Labs, please don't forget to click the subscribe button and the like button, and yeah, we will see you in a bit. Okay, to start, we need to create our environment to manage our dependencies. So I'm using Windows. I'll just use the command prompt and create my environment like this. Virtual environment, and I'll create the .nvn folder. And this will create this folder. And we have to wait a little bit. Okay, so now that our environment is created, we need to activate it. So what we need to run is inside these scripts activate.bat because I'm using CMD. If we are using PowerShell, then it should be this activate.ps1. Okay, so to run this, it's very simple. We can just copy the path and place it here and run, or you can just type it manually. And when we run this, you see that we are inside of this virtual environment. And now we can install our dependencies. So let's install Google ADK. Okay. And let's wait a bit. Okay, so now that this is already installed, I'm just going to copy here a project that I have so I can show you how this more or less works. So we have here a folder that's called Quick Start Web Access. Okay, so this will be our tutorial agent that we will be using here. And then inside we have this init.py. The purpose of this is to simply call this agent.py. And I have here the environment variables. I'll show you in a bit how to create one. Okay. And then we have the agents.py. Here is where I will define the agents and use the tools. Okay. So notice that currently VS Code is not detecting this because although I'm in the environment in the terminal, I'm not here. So I can just go here to select interpreter, and then you have here venv, right? So if you don't find it here, you can just simply enter interpreter path, and you know exactly where it is. I just showed you, so it was inside venv and scripts, and then you have this Python, okay? Okay, you have this Python, and you can just use it. And if I do this, you will see that you have to wait a little bit, but you will notice that right now you can already access this, and you can already go to these tools. Before moving on, let me show you how to create this .env file for your environment variables. Okay, so if you go to AI Studio, let me go from the beginning. Where I got that API key was if you go to Google AI Studio, you have Google AI Studio, then you have to log in and all of that, and then you can create here get API key. And here I have already three API keys created. You can just go create API key, and you just select the project that you have, create API key in existing project, and this will generate your API key, and you just copy. Okay, so you have to copy. If you quit, you cannot access it again. And now if you go here, you just go here and you would insert Google API key equals and then paste it, and that's it. Okay, so from this you already have access to working with these agents through this folder structure. So looking at the project that I just pasted here, we see that it's very simple. So we have an init.py, and then we have an agents.py where we have defined a single agent. We are using Gemini 2.0 Flash experimental. This is free currently, okay? So you can use it through the API. So yeah. And what we are giving here is just access to a single tool, which is this Google search tool. So basically, this agent can search the internet and answer questions for you using Google search. Okay, so I want to start out with this very simple example because I want to show you how very easy this is to configure. With just these lines of code, you already have something useful. So if I run ADK web, it will kickstart a web interface that you can interact with this agent. And the agent name will not be basic search agent. It will be the name of this folder, quick start web access. Okay. And you can change this and you can configure how you want for it to present in the correct manner. So the first time this takes a little bit, but yeah. So now that we have this in place, I can simply go here and yeah, we have here an interface where we can find our agent here. And if we click, we can start talking with the agent. Hi, how are you? And now it answers, I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. How can I help you today? And we can see here a log of the events, what happens. So we see that the basic search agent has access to a tool, Google search, but it didn't use the tool to answer to my question. Okay, so it didn't need to search the internet. So let's prompt it to search the internet. So let's ask, what are the main news today in the US? And hopefully he will search the web and we have here feedback. Okay, here are some of the top news stories, and then it presents some, and yeah, these are actual news stories for today. Okay, and we see here on the second event, it's a bit more complete, and we see that we have here links where it found the information. Okay, and time.com, Al Jazeera, Google, Yahoo, and then we have the grounding, we have the segments, okay, where it found and where it found which chunk indices. So, for example, China's Xi Jinping says there are no winners in a tariff war. Okay, so this one was from chunk in this one. And if we see here in this one, it's this one. So it found from this one. Okay. So if I just search the web and look for this link, it found us somewhere why China can't win the trade war. So it got that for somewhere in this website. Okay, I don't know where that is, but yeah, it found here. So you really can see how easy this is to set up, and right away with just a few lines of code you can already have something like this. So you have an agent that chats, that you can chat with the internet, okay? And even so, you can add files, and you can ask questions through audio and receive audio back. And you can even record your face and ask things like, how many fingers am I holding up? And it will answer. Okay, so to access the video, I have to delete my camera. And yeah, right now probably I can access it. So you see here on the top, and if I ask how many fingers am I holding, how many fingers am I holding?
You are holding up 2 fingers. Is there anything else you'd like to know?
What about now? How many fingers am I holding?
It looks like you are holding up 7 fingers now.
I also noticed that we imported from google.adk.tools, we imported Google search, and this is a pre-built tool that it's extremely simple to use, and it's free to use, where you can just place it and input it in tools, inside tools, and then this agent will be able to search the web, basically. Okay, so it's a very simple and quick way to implement Google search into your agent. So we have this root agent variable. This is a very important variable that will define what is the entry point agent of our application. Okay, in this case, we only have the entry point defined. And how we define is like this. We have this agent object, and then we pass these arguments. And the first argument, the name, it's a unique name for the agent. It should be unique in this project. The description, it's basically a short description of the agent's purpose. And the instructions works in a similar fashion to the system prompt in an LLM. So you basically provide here the instructions and how to act for this agent. And these are the two most important inputs that you provide to this agent class, because it will make the agent behave accordingly. So these have to be very well constructed, and you have to specify the tools that it has access to also, and in which conditions it should access those tools, and all of that, and what is the purpose. So you make sure it behaves according to what you want. So yeah, for you to practice, let's create our agent, an agent example right now. And this agent will have access to two tools. It will have access to what is the current time in New York and what is the current weather like in New York. So a very simple tool-based agent which has a deterministic output. Okay, so let's start out by creating one. So first of all, let's create a weather time agent. Why not? Let's call it like that. And then inside, we have to create the init.py. And this, we will create an agent.py folder. That's why we are doing this. So from dot, so from this current folder, import agent. And here inside, let's create an agent.py. Okay. And now let's create our functions. So let's create our tool. So we will have a root agent, and this root agent can access the get weather tool or the get current time tool. So let's create these tools. So these will be functions, get current. So if the city is New York or New York City, basically this is what it means, then let's return current weather in New York is very shiny and 100 degrees Celsius, so boiling hot, like literally boiling. Okay, and else, let's just say that we do not have weather information for that country. So something very simple like this. Okay, so let's do now get current time. So yeah, this is now we have our tools. Let's just add some doc strings. This helps the model to understand what these tools are all about. So now that we have our tools created, let's import the agent. So from Google ADK agents import agent. Okay, and now we define the root agent, and let's give it a name. So name equals to, let's call it, I don't know, root weather time agent, something like that. Then the model will be Gemini 2.0 Flash X. And the instructions, so the description first, let's call the description first, provides the weather and time information. Now the instruction actually, once again, this works like a system prompt. Let's just say something very simple. Okay, so Very simple example. Now, of course, we have to provide the tools that this agent has access to, and that will be done through a list. And let's place there get current weather and get current time. Okay. And yeah, our agent is defined. It's set to this root agent variable, and we are providing the description. We are providing the model. Let's just, maybe for simplicity's sake, just name it here, model name equals this. Let's call here model name. Okay. And we are providing information to the model of each of these functions, what it does, although it's already very implicit in the name. And let's see if this works or not. So let's do ADK web. Oh, 8,000. Oh my God, 8,000. And when we do this, let's ask what is the current time in New York? Seems it's working and it's 1 a.m. in New York. What about Lisbon? I'm sorry, I don't have time information for Lisbon. Okay, so let's see what happened here. We have here the first interaction. So it shows the graph. So the root weather time agent has access to both of these tools, and it asks for the get current time. And we see here a function call to the New York with and provided as argument the New York. And then, yeah, the author was this. This is the name of the model, the root model. Okay. And then we got the response. So this sent a request. We obtained the response from the tool. So function response, get current time, name of the tool, and then we have this as a response. And then based on this information, based on this result, the root weather time agent, which is the root agent, based on the response from the function, constructed this output. It is 1 a.m. in New York. So that's the next step. It is 1 a.m. in New York. Okay. So that's the answer based on the result from the tool, this tool. Okay, so right now, instead of using tools, let's connect these agents to other agents and create these agentic workflows where we have agents that are connected to other agents, and these agents can be connected to other agents or to other tools. So yeah, let's create just a random agent workflow test example. Let's call it like that. And so inside of this, we need an init.py as always. And so from this current directory import agent, and this is the file name that I'm going to now add. So let's do agent.py. Okay. And now let's define our agent. So from google.adk.agents import agent. And let's do the following. Let's have an orchestrator, an agent which is the root agent, which is an orchestrator, and then it can route either to a poem agent generator or to an agent that summarizes text. Okay, so we can ask for a poem and it will route to the poem agent, or we can ask to summarize text and it will route to the agent that summarizes text. Okay, so let's build this very quickly. And now, this is the important bit. We are going to add this argument, which is sub-agents, where we will place the agents. Sorry, sub-agents, where we place the agent. So let's place a poem agent and a summarizer agent. But of course, now we have to define this. So let's do exactly that. let's create two agents. So text that the user provided. Okay, let's just do something like this. And I almost forgot, but I forgot to place here the environment variable. So let's just copy from the other one and just place it here inside. And I believe that's it. This should be enough. Let's see if. Okay, so I have a better idea. Let's place here a watermark. Okay, so let's place something like always end your poem with orange, with the word orange, and here always sign your summary with the summarizer agent at the end. Okay, so let's do this. ADK web, and let's just try this out. And okay, so the random agent workflow, make a poem about giraffes. So it transferred to the agent. Let's see. So it transferred to the poem agent, and now the poem agent answered with this. And this is our answer. It ends with orange, so it has that watermark. Now let's ask to summarize this. Please summarize what the poem is about. So here it is. The poem describes a giraffe, highlighting, so it's a summary. It used the summarizer agent, and it ended with the signature, the summarizer agent. So yeah, this is how you connect agents. So what if now you want to connect tools to these sub-agents that are here? You would think that it's pretty straightforward and you just go here and add tools, but it's not that straightforward at all. So this is an important nuance. So there's actually a trick to this. Like if you need to one of your agents, one of your sub-agents to access a tool, for example, you would say that it's pretty straightforward, right? Like, what would you do? Something like this from Google .adk.tools import Google search. But the truth is, and let me show you that, it's not that straightforward at all. So if I go tools equals and now Google search, let's say that I want to summarize the news from today. And for that, I want to give access of the summarizer agent to this tool. So if we go here and just run this, so we have subagents, and the subagents we can call a summarizer agent, and the summarizer agent has access to this. So now if I ask something in the something like this, summarize the news from today in the US, we see that we have this 400 invalid argument. Tool used with function calling is unsupported. Invalid argument. So although I'm not calling any sub-agents here, since I'm calling here, none of these agents can have tools, can use tools such as the Google search. I was kind of struggling with this, so but I found this post. So thank you so much to this person that helped me out. And basically what he said is that in the Google API, and that's in fact true, you cannot choose both at the same time. So if you do Google search, you cannot do function calling or any of the others. And if you do function calling, you cannot do round with Google search. So maybe it's because of this, maybe, I don't know. But either way, there's this workaround. So you can create your own tools using the agent tool. Okay. And then you can call these agents by using a tool. So basically, you are creating these agents, and then you transform these agents into a tool, and then you call these agents through tool use. Okay, so let's try this out. So if I go here and I just do from tools, tool, oh, actually, was it agent tool? Exactly, agent tool. And now I can simply go here and do the tool or something like poem agent tool is equal to agent tool dot agent tool, and now I insert the poem agent. And now I do the same thing for the summarizer. Summarizer agent tool, summarizer agent tool. And instead of calling it as a sub agent, I'll call it as a tool. So tools equals poem agent tool and summarizer agent tool. And now hopefully if I run this, this will work. Now if I do random agent workflow, summarize the news from today in the US. So it passed correctly to the summarizer agent. And now here it is, the news from today. And it's signed the summarizer agent. So now let me ask, please generate a poem based on this news. So now it passed to the poem agent, got a response, and here it is. Here's a poem created from this news. And notice a particular thing here, like it's a bit peculiar. Like you don't have access here. It still presents as an agent, but it doesn't present the tools that are being called underneath. Okay? Which is kind of interesting. So you don't see this Google search tool here on the right side to the summarizer agent. Okay, and yeah, that's it. And I really do hope you enjoyed this video. And if you want to see more videos like this in the future, we are going to upload more videos about general machine learning topics, data science topics, large language models, everything related to these areas in this channel. So please, if you love machine learning and you want to know more about this, please click the like and the subscribe button below. And yeah, we will see you next time. Thank you so much for watching.